You want to get to Gavin Williams, who might be someone that would have like a stake in that claim as well, but we're assuming he'd be, graduated by the time that, you have a Paul Skeens involved. Gavin Williams with the Guardians, really good in AAA, hit his little like blip in the radar by giving up 2 earned runs like for every start basically in AAA. It's funny how that's a blip for him. His big league debut was all right. I mean, again, we hold him to a very high standard. He pitches against the Athletics. He goes 5 2/3, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks. Williams is 23. He'll be 24 in the second half of the season, but this guy's really good. The fastball, the slider, we've talked about that. He's developing the curve as that third pitch. I think it's better than the changeup, but we'll see if he can find that changeup a little bit too. He's good enough with the fastball and slider to be a big league starter. I think the difference is the third pitch and fastball command to get him to that, front line type of dude. But I love that the Guardians called him up, because let's figure out what we've got here if we're the Guardians while we decide the future of Shane Bieber, while we try to understand what the future of our rotation is. All of these things, I think Gavin Williams helps them win now, even if he's your 5th starter, and helps them find some more clarity beyond this deadline.
Yeah. So no, quick caveat to Williams's like box score. All 4 hits came in the 3rd inning, and 3 of the 4 runs came on a 3-run homer from Ryan Noda on a hung curveball. So that's a 4-run 3rd. He still threw into the 6th and did not surrender a base hit after that Noda home run, if I'm not mistaken. So, like, dude, we got to feel really good about that. And Ryan Finkelstein on the Just Baseball show brought up a great note. He said Bo Naylor was quoted after the game saying something like, like that was a moment, that was a make or break moment. Like you can fold there and say, oh, this was my welcome to the big leagues moment, and it turns into a bad start and you're lifted after 2 1/3, 2 2/3. But that's not the case. Like, he buckled down after the homer and he threw into the 6th inning, got 2 outs in the 6th after a 4-run 3rd inning. That, I think, is the most impressive aspect of his debut. Obviously the stuff was good. I think it's really interesting when he was in AAA, and I was just talking to the Columbus radio announcer, when he threw against Indy twice, his fastball was only outside to righty bats. Only. Did not come into a righty bat a single time. And we were like, is that something that he does? He was like, yeah, because it works. But like, he came in and challenged some big league hitters at points. Like, it wasn't all the time. The thing that jumps out to me about him is like, yes, the fastball is fantastic. Yes, the slider is fantastic. But I think this guy has some stones that, not many pitchers have.
And I think that was kind of, you talk about performances down the stretch that, can boost your draft stock. That's exactly what Gavin Williams did at ECU. He shoved down the stretch of the season, shoved into the postseason, and then all of a sudden his draft stock really shoots up. I do think that was an example of him kind of showing the stones there. And you break down the exact inning you talk about, Jack, where he gives up the 3-run shot to Ryan Noda. Next batter, Seth Brown, strikes him out just right away, like bounces right back, strikes him out on 5 pitches. Next guy, JJ Bleday, he walks him. He picks him off. And it's just like there's something about him. And then he gets, Jace Peterson to I think, pop out in the 4th and goes rolling from there. There's a level of like, okay, even when this guy, if it takes some time for him to be the best iteration of Gavin Williams, the one that, we write about in our prospect write-up of what everything can look like if it all clicks, that's fine. Let it take some time. But I think to your point, what we're seeing from Gavin is, hey, even if there's a development process here, some players, some pitchers, when they're developing, there's no in between, and they just can't compete at the big league level until they really have the whole arsenal or they really have the feel to pitch. Gavin, I think, can be a big league 4, 5 right now as he still hones in on his stuff. And I think that's very important, that you can get that experience at the big league level. You can continue to improve at the big league level while maybe still not even being close to what you can possibly be. That to me is just a good pitching prospect. I'd put Skeens in that same department. I'd put several other guys in that same boat. I'd put Painter there if he was healthy, where it's like, even the unfinished painter is going to get big league outs. Yuri Perez,
The
we saw
unfinished
the
Yuri hit a
unfinished
1.5.
we saw the unfinished Yuri Perez through the first few starts. He just found the changeup. And
Yeah.
now he's just carving guys. So there's variance to that, but I think Gavin Williams can get big league outs even without being a finished product. If he finds that change or curve, Jack, and you mentioned only throwing the fastball in the outer half, if he can go in and out too, because I think that'll really set up the slider, this guy's going to be a problem. And I think the Guardians know that. And I think they're looking at him as, a future of the rotation alongside hopefully a healthy McKenzie. It's kind of a changing of the guard here. And I'm going to use that, I guess, because I'm in London. It's in the back of my head. But there's a changing of the guard here of like Bieber out, Williams in, and some of the other young guys there, Bybee in. And I still feel good about the Guardians rotation.
What did you think of the Buckingham Palace soldiers with the funny hats?
And the hats are really funny, man. I don't understand what they're protecting, really, because just like nothing's happening
I think
there.
they're
But
protecting honor, like
yeah,
honor of some sort. I don't know what
yeah,
that
the whole
is.
spectacle is so fascinating to me. It was very busy, a lot of people there to see it, which made me want to leave. But it was very cool to see. It was very cool. So
Yeah,
we'll
Arm
jump.
handles crowds really well.
Oh, I do not like crowds, unless I'm at a baseball game. That's literally which, by the way, great crowd at the London game. Really good crowd at the London game.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I'm going to game 2 right after
Yeah.
this.
Last point on Gavin Williams, like that's the mark of a frontline guy. If you can figure things out as a 4 or 5, that's the mark of a 1 or a 2. Because once you are a finished product, you elevate. So, yeah, I think that the Guardians can probably look at Gavin Williams. McKenzie's dealing with this UCL sprain. Let's hope he comes back fully healthy. So it's Williams, it's McKenzie, it's Tanner Bybee, it's Logan Allen, who has thrown really well to start his big league career. And then after that, you're dealing with some injuries, and then you've got some proximity guys. Like AAA is thin right now. Joey Cantillo just put together a good start, but
Great start.
Coming through the pipeline in Double and High A, you have that plethora of college arms that are continuing to tick up, and I'm sure they'll take 3 more in this year's draft. So, real quick on the Friday episode, put this one together because Gavin looking like this is probably enough to incentivize the Guardians to move Shane Bieber if they don't feel like they're contenders. Bieber to Baltimore for Westberg and Kjerstad.
Oh man, I think Orioles fans would be depressed. But
they're
also it's like, all right,
surpluses.
get over it. Get over it. Like
hey,
win some ball
tell
games.
Tell me where the big league spot is for Kjerstad right now. I know
would
where
try
the
to.
big league spot is for Westberg, but like it's not being there.
I agree. I would try to make it Norby and Kjerstad. I'd try. Let's assume that doesn't work. Yes, that is a fantastic deal for both sides. Kjerstad, you could probably promote tomorrow and give him a go. And then Westberg you can definitely promote tomorrow, and he will give you an offensive upgrade over Ahmed Rosario immediately. Like immediately. I really do think that, and I know that anybody that covers prospects tends to give them a little bit too much credit sometimes when they get up to the big leagues, and we always have to highlight like, hey, it's really hard to succeed in the big leagues. I think Jordan Westberg could run an 85 WRC plus without much issue and better defense than Rosario. Rosario's been horrible defensively as well and better base running. Like he would be an upgrade immediately. And they need a bat like Kjerstad real bad. It's a steep price to pay for the O's, but if you can get like a verbal on an extension, I would absolutely do that.
Yeah.
Last thing on Williams too, hit 98 5 times in that start. So Velo's there, topped out at 98.2. Nick Gonzalez, real quick.
Hit 100. So.
Yeah, you've seen him hit 100 too. It's there. He's got that in the tank. I think he was probably trying to manage himself a little bit in that one. Don't empty the tank in the first, because all of those 98s, those came in the first. So I think there was more in there. He was probably trying to pace himself a little bit, and he held his velo pretty much all start, which was important to see.